To truly understand the Dachshund, we have to travel back to Germany somewhere around the 15th century. Life for farmers and landowners was harsh, and they faced a relentless, destructive menace, the European badger. Now, forget the cute, stripy little guys you might see in cartoons. A medieval European badger was a 30-4 0-pound tank of pure muscle, armed with bone-crushing jaws and claws like meat hooks. And worse, they lived in massive, sprawling underground fortresses called setts, making them nearly impossible to hunt. Farmers desperately needed to exterminate them to protect their crops. But there was a massive logistical problem. Standard hunting dogs like hounds and mastiffs were simply too big to fit into the tunnels. And smaller animals like ferrets would be instantly ripped to shreds by a cornered, furious badger. Humans didn't just need a dog, they needed a specialized underground gladiator. A beast compact enough to navigate tight, pitch-black tunnels, but fierce and heavy enough to go toe-to-toe with a monster in the dark. Through ruthless selective breeding for dwarfism, German hunters engineered a living weapon. They called it the Dachshund, which literally translates to badger dog. When you look at a dachshund, you might see a comical, disproportionate body. But to a medieval German hunter, this was a masterpiece of biological engineering. Every single weird feature on a Wiener dog is a specialized tool for subterranean warfare. Let's start with the obvious, the long back and short legs. This extreme form of dwarfism, called chondrodysplasia, was purposely bred into them. It allowed the dachshund to slither through narrow, twisting badger tunnels without getting its shoulders stuck like a furry torpedo navigating a dark labyrinth. Next time you see a dachshund, look at its front paws. They are massive, paddle-shaped, and shockingly powerful compared to the rest of their body. These aren't just feet, they are organic shovels designed to aggressively move dirt out of collapsed tunnels so the dog could reach its prey. Then there's the barrel chest. Why does a small dog need such a massive rib cage? Because fighting underground is exhausting, and oxygen is scarce. Those huge lungs gave them the stamina to fight for hours in the dirt. But that chest also acts as an acoustic resonance chamber. It gives the dachshund a surprisingly loud, deep bark, loud enough that hunters standing above ground could track the dog's location deep beneath their feet. And finally, the loose, wrinkly skin. It looks adorable now, but historically it was functional armor. If a badger clamped its razor-sharp teeth onto the dog in a dark tunnel, that loose skin allowed the dachshund to literally twist around inside its own hide to bite back, all while protecting its vital organs from a fatal puncture. If you own a dachshund, you know they are famously stubborn, they ignore commands, they do what they want. You might think your dog is just being difficult. But again, you have to look at their history. When a dachshund went into a badger set, the hunter couldn't go with them. The dog was completely alone in the pitch black, facing a larger, lethal predator. In that moment, the dog couldn't wait for a human command. It had to be fiercely independent. It had to make split-second, life-or-death decisions. That independence forged a dog with absolutely zero concept of its own size. And German hunters realized that this fearless, almost psychotic level of bravery could be weaponized against an even bigger threat, the European wild boar. Now, we aren't talking about the miniature Wiener dogs you see in purses today. These were the standard Dachshunds, muscular 30-pound dogs. Hunters would release packs of them into the forest. Their job wasn't to kill the boar, which could weigh up to 400 pounds and possessed razor-sharp tusks, but to track it, surround it, and ruthlessly harass it. The Dachshund's low profile made them incredibly agile, able to duck under the deadly swings of the boar's tusks. They would dodge, weave, and bite, keeping the massive beast distracted and enraged until the human hunters could catch up for the kill. It took a dog with a massive ego and a complete disregard for its own safety to play matador with a wild boar, and the Dachshund did it perfectly. So we have this fierce subterranean gladiator, but if you look around today, Dachshunds don't all look like the tough short-haired dogs of medieval Germany. In fact, they come in 3 very distinct coat types and 2 different sizes. Why the sudden wardrobe change? The original Badger dog was likely the smooth-haired variety bred from a mix of German pinschers and various scent hounds. Their short, sleek coats were perfect for slipping through dirt tunnels without getting snagged on roots or mud. But hunters soon realized they needed a dog for more than just underground work. They needed a dog that could hunt above ground in brutal, thorny brush and freezing weather. So they crossed the smooth-haired Dachshund with various terriers and wire-haired pinschers. The result? The wire-haired Dachshund, a dog with a tough, bristly coat that acted like a suit of armor against briars and bad weather, and a distinct, almost comical beard that protected its face from bites and scratches. And what about the elegant, flowing locks of the long-haired Dachshund? For hunters in the coldest regions of Germany, the smooth and wire coats simply weren't warm enough. By crossing the breed with spaniels, they created a dog that was still a ruthless hunter, but one equipped with a built-in winter coat capable of tracking prey through deep snow and icy rivers. The evolution didn't stop at their coats. As hunting practices changed, the need for a massive badger-fighting dog diminished. But farmers still had a massive problem with rabbits destroying crops. The solution? Shrink the weapon. Breeders selectively downsized the standard Dachshund to create the miniature, a tiny 10-pound version specifically designed to dive into rabbit holes. Same fearless attitude, just in a more compact aerodynamic package. Fast forward a few hundred years. The European Badger is no longer terrorizing the German countryside. The Dachshund's battlefield has shifted from blood-soaked forests and muddy tunnels to your living room. But you can't just erase centuries of genetic programming. Those quirky, sometimes frustrating behaviors your Wiener dog exhibits, they aren't signs of a bad dog. They are the echoes of a retired killer. Take the toy destruction. When your Dachshund violently shakes a squeaky toy and tears its stuffing out, they aren't just playing. To their brain, that high-pitched squeak sounds exactly like a dying rodent. The shaking motion, that's an ancient technique designed to snap a prey animal's neck. And digging, when they relentlessly burrow into your expensive blankets or throw pillows, they are fulfilling their deepest instinct, excavating a collapsed tunnel to reach their target. And what about the barking? If you own a Dachshund, you know they are alarmingly loud for their size. When they bark at the mailman, the wind, or a leaf blowing across the yard, they are using that massive barrel-shaped chest exactly as intended. They are alerting you, their hunting partner, that they have cornered a potential threat.